Good morning from New York. Today, introverts. Learn to communicate using your power. The inner artist born from your mystic abilities. So, a lot of folks who are introverts don't realize they have the power to communicate effectively. The fact that you're introverted, look at it as a starting point. Everybody's a mystic because you communicate within your mind, your brain, from different perspectives. I hope the sound is better here than it has been. How do you do that? Don't laugh. You got to learn to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself out loud. And talk to yourself from your abilities, which exist within you and can be grown to be objective, creative, and compassionate. Growing these abilities is can also be very healing, and that's the introvert in anybody is the mystic in that person. It's an inner reflection. What let's talk about consciousness for a little bit. Consciousness, according to Michio Kaku and myself, um, is a kind of feedback loop, which may be core to the nature of reality itself. That's where I think the physicists who talk about consciousness as the undergirding principle of the universe might be somewhat correct. That everything's connected, everything's interrelated. So everything is communicating in a way within a system of time. When the universe was born, time was born. But just saying that is powerful. It's some of the realization that you'll have if you take the power of your ability to introspect, to be introverted in a serious way. It's an exercise in which you are communicating as everything is in the universe between itself and itself, an aspect of the universe or a point in the universe communicating with other points within the universe, within this time. Of course, in some sense, you can think of time as an illusion that everything's already happened. Like it's predetermined and everything is already done. Um, but we have this drama that we have to deal with because we are in time. Our consciousness is an aspect of the universe that is communicating in a dramatic way, um, with an attempt to survive, to keep going, and to keep the love flow, the needs meeting, and the meeting of other needs, that love flow, that trade, which is core to consciousness. Keep that going. And that means like survival of the species, survival of you personally. Um, Everything is about survival and needs. If you understand that, the power of your expressions will be enhanced. What goes wrong with this, what's keeping you from this power, is trauma in life that we all have, that that is not getting your needs met and having your faith and love damaged. Your faith and love is damaged when there's helplessness, utter helplessness to get the need met or to meet others' needs. This blockage of the love flow is key to what is a traumatic experience. Getting a little scratch on your finger and, going, ow, that's not really traumatic. What's traumatic is when there's helplessness involved. So the mystic unlearns the helplessness, gets in touch with the real needs, the real survival instincts within themselves. And when I say the survival instincts, I'm also saying survival of the species. It's when we are more conscious, um, you know, it's about not protecting ourselves, but protecting our children, and that which is beneficial to others. That's key. This kind of love, this love flow, is something that can be enhanced, and faith can be grown. Wow. So that's that's the source of your power. That which is pro survival, which is part of your instinctive drive to preserve your species, to preserve yourself, uh, which of course means preserving your children. And that can be more important um, at points than your own personal survival, because consciousness is a feedback loop. And in a feedback loop, if there's real communication, there's a kind of joining, a kind of empathy uh, taking place from, because you're experiencing uh, the connectiveness of your life to yourself, to others, and to your bigger picture of things, your inner artist, the creator of all you imagine. The exercise of your mystic power is a communication between yourself and your inner caregiver, your inner counselor, who exists in your timeline and are your dramatic experience of life. Your creative empathy, your inner artist, is the part of you that in Vaishnava Hinduism um, and the Vedas is called the watcher. It's a part of you that can be conscious of the story as apart from the story and apart from yourself. And so consider that just like everything's interrelated in the universe, and that their old relationships are entangled. Um, it's one aspect communicating with another. And so within your brain, by the way, the brain and the way it's put together looks a lot like some pictures of the universe. But your brain, that's how you experience, that's your filter of reality that helps you to deal with things in a way that helps you to survive. Um, and that brain, when you're introverted, when you are having a communication within that brain, it's one part of the brain communicating to the other, one part of the brain seeing the whole, trying to see the whole brain, the real you that's making the decisions in your life, trying to identify with that and understand its nature. This is the path of the mystic to, and you can never fully grasp. You can get closer and closer, but you can never fully grasp the whole, viewing it from apart. So this is an ongoing kind of relationship that some people say exists after death. I see no clear evidence of that, but you keep your mind open. That's so we talked about the power. Where does the power of your communication come from? Well, it comes from a deep consciousness of all that motivates you in this life, the giving and the receiving of need, the attempt to extend the survival in some sense of your parents and to be have ourselves in a sense extended out through our children, all connected. And by the way, that's why I also talk about family structure and the importance of grandparents. Grandparent aspect in a family is the part above the drama. There can be a play with the kids, and creativity is the creation of play. It's being in charge of it. Whereas playfulness is something that you have even as a baby. Focus you have even as a baby. But as you grow into your language version of yourself, that becomes objectivity. Your ability to express feelings, that's you're born with as a baby. even without an ego, you have these abilities, focus and play, and this ability to express. And from that, in social language circumstances, um, it becomes compassion, which is the permission, the safe permission to feel. Um, the thing that says, hey, it's okay to feel this. You're safe to feel this now. You can express your feelings. And that's how we integrate. And I'm remembering my father talking about how uh, he felt comforted after the loss of a dear lady friend. And he said all the religious things that people were saying, like she's in heaven, blah blah blah. That really didn't help him feel any better. Um, what helped was one lady who came by. This is compassion, the permission to feel. She touched his shoulder lightly and said, with great empathy, compassion, I'm sorry. That's when you feel able to cry and to resolve. So yes, the ability to express feeling becomes compassionate empathy. Now, objective empathy is born from focus. It's something that evolves from that anyway. And playfulness evolves into creativity. So if you're understanding these points, you can and practice these perspectives inside yourself um, that can build your power when you go to speak to others. Because you understand. And you might just grasp, the other person's comfort zone. You don't want to go too far out of it. It's kind of like exercise. You don't overdo. The system of empathetic inner-mind communication is that you're trying to comfort yourself. You're not looking for the pain of the trauma. That'll come up when it's time and when you can handle it. It's an unlearning of the helplessness to feel as you expand your capacity for objective, creative, and compassionate empathy, which, as I say, are three dialogues, three role play dialogues that you can have inside your mind. There are also, your power means that you're not trapped in a language version of who you are. You're free of all of the labels and things that other people might give to you. You're free. And that means you can change for the better and walk away after you've dealt with and integrated events in your life. And then you can be a different person. So this is a full-throated teaching. This is a deep sound theoretically, it's sound approach And it's good for a lot of people. Um, but you need to learn how to keep it in your own secure area of comfort. And somebody from outside can't possibly know where your comfort zone, when your comfort zone is being too stretched, I mean, too challenged. Uh, you know that. That's why, I think the mystic way is the better way. It's about gaining a great trust in the incredible power of your own brain and utilizing it. And that's why, I look at teaching these sort of things. It's like parenting a child. You don't parent the child so that they need you forever. You parent them so that they can meet their own needs and the needs of others, because they're going to have children, right? Or influence other people who do have children and maybe help them out as a teacher. You can't get around the three generations. If you try to, then you've lost your power. So the big picture is human life coming into existence, human life departing. I'm in the phase of the departure, but I can tap that power. I now have the freedom to tell stories that can help to enlighten my journey. Might help you to understand. I'm a mystic, and if you look up a mystic, you'll find that they have things that at least appear to be paranormal. And yeah, I had that. For some people, it was a near death experience. For others, it was an experience in deep meditation. For others, uh, it might be in a kind of channeling of great love, in which in any of those cases, there's knowledge that seems to be accessed that go beyond what we understand as rational avenues uh, to gain that information. Uh, but we don't know what that is. If someone tries to tell you they do, then I wonder. But that's why I think you need to be a rational mystic. Anyway, but it needs to be objective. You need to be objective, creative, and compassionate. From these, you get an order, truth, artfulness, and play. Did I get that order right? Yeah. Objectivity gives us truth. Creative empathy gives us artfulness. And compassionate empathy gives us goodness. And all of these things, these virtuous forms of meeting love, meeting needs actually, which is real love. Um, these things build trust or faith. It's the religions are valuable as mythologies at the very least, anyway. And there's a statement I remember from the Bible that says, "The just shall live by faith." Well, true. If it's from faith and love, that trust built from virtuous caring, um, that that makes sure that your path is a just one. So I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Feel free to make comments, to make your suggestions. You want to argue with me? Yeah, you can do that if you want. And if you're going to try to slip in hatefulness, yeah, it's like, yeah, there are people who slide into the comment section with snake-like manipulations of reason, so that they can say they're in a superior race or something, or that some whole group of people are stupid or something like that. Yeah, yeah, it's stupid is not a really great thing just to say, because it shows the ignorance of the person saying it. And I've used it, and I'm angry. Stupid is something you say when someone seems to lack the ability to think, as you discern thinking, your version of it, added to that frustration and to that anger. But it really doesn't say anything about the other person. We can all be unthinking at times and under certain circumstances. And we can compartmentalize a lot of BS. Mm. But does that mean we're incapable? Stupid sounds like you're incapable of thinking. I don't think so. People are, but people need to have consciousness. They need to have this inner mind communication with empathy, and that empathy with your body, by the way, is the infant mind. That's just empathy at a very basic level, just feeling or mirroring what you are feeling. You're adding consciousness to uh, sensations, things that really that you have without words interfering, and it's important. But it's also important to blend all these things together in a comfortable way for yourself, because any one point without the others is lacking. But each of the practices that we teach on the channel here, they're all helpful in and of themselves. Um, but everything has side effects, and you need to consider that. Some people need a therapist, or or a psychiatrist. Most people really don't. If they have a healthy brain, if you have trauma, it doesn't mean your brain's unhealthy. I mean, if you're neurotic, if you chasing after symbols of need, well, that's just a very natural reaction of the brain to trauma, and I hardly would call it a disease. It's an adaptation that saves you at the time, but later has side effects. So you want to get rid of it, and increase your level of consciousness. If you don't understand something, realize that it took me a very long time and a lot of study to get to where I am today. And I'm still far from perfect. Remember what I said. One part, the part of us of the whole can never fully realize the whole. But it can have a kind of relationship with it, with how which is really a relationship between how you imagine yourself in your drama and how you imagine yourself above it. So, outside of it. So anyway, don't, doesn't mean you can't understand these things if you don't understand it right away. But the practices are worth a lot more than the words. So training in that is very important, and you contact us, we'll help you with that. Yeah. Now, I began my journey very religiously in a fundamentalist religion, and then wanted to, as my dad did, studied everything within that particular religion and came to a conclusion. I wanted to study all the religions and come to a conclusion, and found value in all of them that I looked into. Great value, but they're like a finger pointing to the moon, and the moon's moving, and things can be out of date, and the finger can be just a little off, is way off by the time you get at the distance of the thing you're pointing at. Face to face. That's it's better. You have to leave the finger. You have to leave religion in order to see what it's pointing to. But I had to explore religion first, and I did. I had a lot of the experiences that they talk about, and kind of like the Buddha, or Solomon, and I did pray for wisdom when I was young. I just said, "Are you a better person now?" And no, I really don't think I fundamentally changed. And that was not so good. But I learned the importance of things that later came to be part of the pieces that fit into a whole, to a picture that was very revelatory. So, you've had some experiences in the past, and those things may come back as things that helped you on your journey, the good and the bad. But Yeah. So I had those experiences. Must have been baptized. I used to joke 6 times. I think it might have been actually. All the way under and all the way up. That was my foray into Christianity. And each time I went, no, no, I did all the believing and the dousing, and I'm really not that different. So then I had the experience in the Eastern religions. There's no self, or you're one with the universe. That's just the infant mind perspective, because there's no self concept there. It's kind of unhinged. If that would have sufficient, that's how you would have stayed. Not that the experience is invaluable, but out of context, yeah. I used to hear people running around trying to make sense of it all, the part, trying to imagine the whole. And uh, it sounded like a kind of insanity to me. I found great humility in the Vaishnava Hindu faith. Um, I found a kind of simple clarity and promotion of the ability to trust in Sufism, a part of Islam. But in Buddhism, I got what they were, the koans. Um, you know, yeah, I kind of get that, and they're really, can't hardly put it in words, but it's um, things that come out of introspection into your infant mind, your non-ego self. And Vaishnava Hinduism with Bhakti Yoga, well, that I really loved. It was a communication between yourself and I think Paramatma, which is in the Bhagavad Gita. The two main characters in the Bhagavad Gita are the Arjun in the drama of war, and Krishna being the driver of the chariot, and and neutral in a way, but giving guidance and teaching to the driver, to the one engaged, not the one engaged in the drama. So there's a dramatic self, and then there's a higher self. Mystics sometimes talk about being one with the super soul, the Father. Yeah, yeah. But look, the important thing is finding out for yourself and learning to be your own refuge in a very difficult world. So the whole process is learn to comfort yourself, be aware of these things that I'm talking about, so that you're when you do speak, you're speaking with power. Practice communication in out loud. Talk within yourself, taking these different roles, and there are precise ways of doing this that I find very, very helpful. To say that you have to do it my way is a little There are possibly other angles, other ways of doing some of the things I talk about. So, and maybe brain research is going to come up with something that blows everything that I say out of the water. A new approach that I can't at this point imagine. And maybe doesn't exist, but we'll see. Anyway, what I can say that what I know works. I can say that I'm well versed in it and experienced in it. It's the benefits that came to me. I went from power seeking and blaming, which is a very evil path, to something a lot more Christ-like, a lot more Christian-like, a lot more Buddha-like, um, that I believe is the paramount and higher self that I connected with. I knew things about people. I don't know how I knew them. But I was very leery of people being dependent on an outside source because they don't see the power you have. Even as introverts, you think you don't have the power to communicate to other people. No, you do. And that introversion can be turned into a source of power. That's what a mystic does, communicates within. It's communication within the mind. And the imagination. That's what it is. And rationally speaking, and you do that. But I'm asking you to do it consciously. Embrace your mystic self so that you can you can work on your abilities to communicate within yourself with love and power and to others in the same way. You can do it. And when I say do it, I mean you can increase your ability to do it. Nobody's perfect. And if anybody says they are, run away. So, I don't know how much you trust me. I'm not going to ask you to trust me. I'm going to ask you to join me on the journey to communicate with love, to help the love flow in the world. Will you join me? Will you subscribe? Will you comment? Will you join us in our Zoom calls when we get those up and rolling again? Will you do that? And I'm calling out to everybody in the world. So if your major language is Spanish, create a YouTube channel and we'll keep in touch, hopefully. And teach these things in another language. Let's help the world come together. It's amazing that people will send their children off to war rather than work things out together. And that's why this channel is also about democracy, empowerment of the individual. human rights, virtues, not dependent on anybody's particular view of religion, but upon what you find in direct experience when you use empathy in the ways that I mentioned. Okay, well, you have been uh, quite a warrior listening to all of this. Um, please ask your questions. We're here to serve. And for now, we're not asking any any support other than the things that I mentioned. One day we may have to. And it might be a good thing too. But not for now. Love should never come at a price. But if you don't feel it, you might die. The communication of it might die. Love never dies. And you are love. You are composed of it. You have power inside you. Embrace it. And have a very good week, good day, good next hour. Namaste.